You're setting certain boundaries within your relationships. And if you choose yourself first, this is going to be very different than how you were probably growing up, and you're changing, evolving. And I'm almost sure that the people that you're setting these boundaries with, they're giving you some type of backlash. They are acting out in a way or responding to you in an adverse way because they're not used to this type of change in behavior from you. They're used to you being a certain way. They're used to you responding to them and their tactics a certain way. And when you're evolving and you're deciding to choose yourself first and set those boundaries and have those standards for yourself, they're going to probably not like it. If you are watching this video, then you probably have some sort of abandonment wound or insecure attachment style or some type of insecurity when it comes to your relationships, your family, the dynamics that you have, and the way that you choose to operate when it comes to your intimate connections and your interactions with people. Now, what I realized, on my journey of finding out exactly who I am, what I want, how I want people to treat me, how I want to show up in the world, is one of the main reasons why we have so much trouble and we have so many issues and insecurities when it comes to our interactions and our relationships is because the cycle of abandonment issues and abandonment wounds and insecurity attachment styles that have been secreted from the moment we came into our families and our family dynamics. A lot of these behaviors are learned through, just natural interactions within our families. And now that I'm an adult and I choose to take responsibility for myself, and I'm sure you are as well, there are certain things that you're going to want to do to make sure that you're showing up and you're choosing yourself first. And what I noticed is I would find myself with the relationships that's most important to me, and I think the relationship that's most important to all of us is probably the relationship that we have with our parents. And a lot of these times, the relationship we have with our parents and our caregivers are how we learn how to not only treat people, but most importantly, how to treat ourselves and how we allow people to treat us. So if those interactions and those relationships wasn't the healthiest, wasn't the strongest or the most solid foundations, as young as, you know, the very beginning, from when you learn how to talk and how you learn how to walk and how you were shown how to, interact with people, and the way we get our needs met with people when we are interacting with them. So, with all of that being said, if you are at a stage in your life and at a stage in your journey where you are showing up for yourself daily, you're giving yourself more self love, and you're choosing yourself first above all, then you probably have situations when you're interacting with your family, your parents specifically, or whoever your caregivers were or is in your life, where you're setting certain boundaries within your relationships. And if you choose yourself first, this is going to be very different than how you were probably growing up, and you're changing and you're growing and you're evolving. And I'm almost pretty sure that the people that you're setting these boundaries with, they're giving you some type of backlash. They are acting out in a way or responding to you in an adverse way because they're not used to this type of change in behavior from you. They're used to you being a certain way. They're used to you responding to them and their tactics a certain way. And when you're evolving and you're deciding to choose yourself first and set those boundaries and have those standards for yourself, they're going to probably not like it because they're not used to you acting that way. And even within myself, I noticed that when I set certain boundaries in my relationship, there is a period of turbulence where the people that I'm interacting with, that I love and I care about, they are, they may say certain things, or they may even pull back. You may notice that when you're carrying yourself in a certain way, in a lower energy, in a lower vibration, and you're entertaining certain things, like you may entertain gossip, or you just may entertain lower vibrational things in order to keep these relationships, in order to sustain these relationships, until you realize this is not who I want to be. This is not how I want to show up. So if you're interacting, because these are the people that you love, these are the people that you care about, these are the people that you want attention from. But if you're noticing that you're only getting love from these people if you are showing up as your lowest self, the self that you are trying to grow and evolve from, and you're noticing that these people are pulling back from you, or they're, responding to you in an adverse way, they're upset with you, they may be shooting shots at you, or they may be saying, well, what's wrong with you, or why are you acting like this, or why do you think you're better than me? Just understand that they're reacting this way because they're not used to you choosing yourself first and foremost, and then second, they're not used to you leveling up and growing and getting better. Because majority of people, they don't grow, they don't evolve, they stay the same, they stay in the same energy, in the same vibration. And if you're watching this video, you're probably a person that's intentionally growing and wanting to get better every day. Continue to do the right thing, continue to show up and choose yourself first, because I personally noticed that I want love, I want to be accepted, I want to be chosen by my parents, I want to be loved by them, I want their attention. But then I also noticed that this just wasn't happening naturally. And what I was doing is, in order to get their validation, I would find myself acting out in a way that wasn't my best self. Engaging in conversations that I knew I don't want to engage in. Just being a certain way that I have already grown and evolved from. And I notice when I'm living my highest self and I'm living as my best self, no one wants to deal with me. Nobody wants to deal with me. And you may feel like this. It may be a very lonely journey. You may notice, like, when you're in that lower vibration, you're the life of the party. Everybody's calling you. Everybody wants to be around you. Everybody want to hang out with you. When you notice your old self in the past, everything was good. But when you evolve and you're growing and you're becoming a better person, you're noticing nobody wants to deal with you anymore. No one's calling you. No one's checking up on you. And then they're also resenting you. So whenever you do interact or talk with certain people that you love and you care about, you notice that they're just not, they don't want to meet you where you are. But I want you to understand, you should never come down from where you are to get on a level, just to come down to somebody's level just to interact and get that attention and get that love. And when I noticed that I was doing these type of things, I had to realize, like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue to choose myself first. And if people don't want to come meet me where I am, even if it's the people that's supposed to be closer to you, your parents, then we're just not going to have the conversation. We're just not going to have the relationship. Because as an adult, I want my parents to love me, get to know me, want to spend time with me. And I'm not saying that they don't, they do. But it's like, if I notice that I'm not being my best self, or I have to, like, lower my vibration or come down a few notches to be able to interact with people, it's just like, no, I'm not going to do that. And one thing with our parents specifically is, like, these are the relationships that set our foundation. And it's like, damn, if I can't be authentically me with my parents, like, nobody else has anything coming. And this is why we are showing up in our adult relationships with these insecure attachment styles. This is why we're overextending ourselves to people. This is why we're overly sacrificing ourselves. This is not why we're not being our this is why we're not being our most authentic self with people. This is why we're love bombing. This is why we're people pleasing, because these are the things that we had to do with our own parents, our own grandparents, our own siblings, our own aunties and uncles, our own cousins. And we've been in this cycle for so long. It's like, in order to get accepted, in order to feel love, in order to feel that connection within our families, we have to stunt our growth and lower our vibrations and lower our energies to fit in. Well, I want to let you guys know, you weren't made to fit in. You were made to stand out and be you. And it is lonely at the top. Get it? Like, the more you continue to grow, the more you continue to up your standards and your expectations within your life, within your connections, as you continue to choose yourself first, there's going to be less and less people that is able to match your energy. There's going to be less and less people able to meet you where you are. You're going to be so high. You're going to be so far up that mountain that it's not going to be a lot of people up there. But I want you to accept that there are going to be people up there. But if you don't see people along your journey, oh freaking well. Continue to choose yourself first. Continue to take care of yourself first. Stop trying to go back. Stop trying to go down that hill, trying to attempt to pull people and bring people up with you. Because what's going to happen is you're going to stunt your growth, you're going to slow up your development, and you're going to get pulled into the bucket of crabs, like that crabs in a bucket mentality. You're going to allow people to pull you into the bucket, and you may not be able to get out that bucket at some point. If you let those energies cling onto you and attach onto you, that it gets so bad that you can't get out that bucket. So I just want to give you guys encouragement to stay the course, stay on your path, continue to climb that mountain, continue to soar, and do not look back. If people really want to experience life the way that you are experiencing life, they'll come. They'll make the necessary adjustments. They'll make the necessary changes to go where you're going and come with you, and also realize that everybody isn't going where you're going and everybody can't come with you, and that's okay. But you will find your people. You will meet your people. And also understand that everything you need is already inside you, so you really don't need people in that way. And that's something that I always felt extremely guilty about. Like, I don't need people in the way that average people need people. Like, I just don't. I really never have. And it's because I know that people can't really do much for you. And when you start to realize this, you start to look at life this way, you'll start to go to God more. And when I say God, not anything outside you, the God that's inside you, your inner self. You'll go consult with your damn self. Like, consult with your inner truth, your inner being, your inner God. Like, you are God. God is already in you. And there's nothing anybody outside of you can do to help you. And it's like, I had to stop feeling guilty about that, because so many people and this is why people need people around them. And this is why people are so needy and clingy with people. Like, I just never been that person. It's because it feels better. It makes you feel more comfortable. It makes you more eager to trauma bond. It's like, we can sit here in our trauma and you can tell me your issues, you can tell me your problems, and it makes me feel better about myself because I understand, well, at least I don't have those problems. Or, oh, you are going through problems too. Or, oh, that's bad that you're going through that. This makes people feel good about themselves. But it's like, I, I understand that if we're not actively and proactively solving our problems, then what are we really doing? I've always noticed and I learned that people don't want to solve problems. They just want to talk about problems. And it's like very young I realized like that's not going to get us anywhere. And then when I get in the mindset of bringing solutions, it's like people really don't want to hear that. And I know you guys experienced it too. Like, you understand people don't really want to hear that solving problems BS. They just want to talk about the problems. And it's like, you feel like I don't want to waste time talking about problems. Like, what are we doing about them? So that's all I have for this video. That's what I really want to talk about. Is like, I understand it's a sector of people that can't even go to their parents for certain things, especially because a lot of the wounds came from your parents, and a lot of things your parents just don't understand. And as you evolve, like, you probably evolved past your parents. I mean, let's just be honest. And that's okay. Like, you shouldn't feel guilt or shame about that. Like, we all are souls. Like, if you're an old soul, 9 times out of 10, your soul, your spirit is probably older than your parents' soul. Like, that's really a thing, and it's okay. And there's also a certain generation of parents that's just not as evolved as the younger generation, and the younger generations are going to continue to evolve as we keep moving through this information and we get access to more and more information, and that's okay. I think that's the whole point. So I hope you guys got something from this video. Continue to do you. Continue to evolve, continue to grow, and stop coming down to other people's levels just to get that validation or just to get that acceptance from them. Like, don't do that. Don't stunt your growth, and continue to choose yourself first. It's extremely important. So that's all I have for you guys for this video. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Until the next one, peace.